Welcome, writers, where today we are going to have the luxury and amazement of reading first pages. Um, I'm so excited to read again. This is always my favorite thing to record, so I'm super excited. I'm Morgan,
This is Molly.
And I'm Teresa.
and I'm wondering what genre. Okay, let's think. What genre do you think it is going to be today? Because I don't know yet. Is it going to be romance?
We'll
Let's
have to,
find out. Let's get to the
yeah.
pages. We follow an even better if model. So, in our model of critiquing, we listen to the first pages, we read it with the audience. We want you to give constructive criticism and praise in the chat, please. Keep it respectful and kind, of course. And our model is even better if. So, every suggestion we give you is just to make it even better than it already is. We may be right, we may be wrong, we may be crazy, but we're showing up to try to do the best we can. So,
Our goal is we want you to tell your story, and we want to help you, if at all possible, to make your story the best version it can be. All
yeah,
right.
you say it so much better. Good job,
No,
Molly.
you were perfect. You were perfect.
All right, let's get to it.
Who wants to read today?
I can read it. Okay. So we always keep the author's name anonymous just in case. However, in our comments, the author is welcome to comment below after they watch the recording or say anything that they would like to say. Okay. So the name of the story is Once Upon a Song. Anna's fairy tale ended before it began, on the empty road to an address which did not exist. She took a deep drag from her cigarette and exhaled the smoke into the air, gray as the fog which lay ahead. Next to her stood the taxi, the sputtering and coughing of its motor the only sounds which disturbed the quiet forest. The driver leaned out of the window and shuddered as a cold wind hit his face. If it doesn't start, it doesn't start. I have somewhere to be, Anna said, though her hopes were melting away like the snowflakes landing on the windshield. She closed her eyes for a moment to keep the tears from falling. Always the same pain, the same taste of a dream turning to ashes in her mouth. You don't say, the driver responded. Listen, I tried calling roadside assistance, but there's no phone service here. We have to wait until the next car comes along. Anna shook her head. If we wait for another car, we might be on this damn road all day. I'm late already. She did her best to rein in her tone and to keep herself from snapping at him. It was not his fault, though it was easier to blame the taxi driver than the weather. Well, you have a good excuse. I'd much rather be on time than have a good excuse. Anna flicked her cigarette to the ground and crushed it with the tip of her boot. Forget it, I'll walk. The driver's bushy eyebrows snapped together. In this weather, you don't even know where it is. I know where it is. I have the directions. It shouldn't be much further. What did it matter that no one she asked had ever heard of the place or its address? Ooh, I like this story.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely keep reading. Okay, this line.
Yeah, what the heck? I want to know what happens next. Where's she
Yeah.
going?
Can you read that line about the dream turning to ash in her mouth? Is that?
Always the same pain, the same taste of a dream turning to ashes in her mouth.
I mean, I just felt so seen in that line.
And she has a cigarette too.
Yeah. And it was just like the setting mingling with like the identity of the character and then reaching out to connect with the audience in this really powerful way that all of a sudden it's like you feel seen and heard with one line. And so in that line, I was just like mesmerized. I was like, this author has talent.
I'm
I,
really, and it makes me
oh, go ahead.
wonder when I, especially with that line, because she's smoking too. So it's
Right.
like, is the author trying to elude that she essentially, this character Anna, is the downfall of her own dreams? Like that ashy taste in her
Ooh.
mouth, she is the one creating it. She is the one ruining her dreams because of the things that she does. I don't know, but I'm wondering if that's the illusion and that's the foreshadowing here. This is like the thing trying to, maybe it's not, but to me that could be really brilliant if it is.
And to tug on this a little bit more, this is my favorite line. She took a deep drag from her cigarette and exhaled the smoke into the air, gray as the fog which lay ahead. She's fogging her surroundings. If we're really going to play with a cigarette thing, she's fogging her surroundings. Her surroundings are becoming smoke around her. Oh, it's so freaking good.
Can we hear that last line again?
Yeah, I know where it is. I have the directions. This shouldn't be much further. What did it matter that no one she asked had ever heard of the place or its address?
This,
Yeah.
I really like this because it makes me want to read more, especially because how is she going there if she doesn't know the address?
Yeah,
Like,
and
how
then
did she
look,
tell the taxi where to
and
go?
I like, so can you, at the beginning of it, she's saying she has the address, but then she doesn't, right?
She says, I know where it is. I have the directions.
Have the directions.
Well, and the taxi driver's worried about her because of the weather, and we don't quite know what's going on with the weather other than it's foggy.
And she wants to get there.
Snowing. We know it's snowing.
Oh, it's snowing? Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And she wants to
Her
get
hopes
there.
were melting away like snowflakes landing on the windshield.
Woo!
So the literary, the figurative
Mm-hmm.
language in this is on point. Like this author is very good with figurative language and showing, not telling, and that's really, really strong. And then mixing the setting with the dialogue, and then using the beats of figurative language for that deeper reflection and connection with the audience.
I agree.
Okay, so let's talk. I mean, obviously, there's some really great stuff here. Let's see if we can help make it even better. Can we?
I actually find the last line clunky, and I don't know if it's because I'm reading it aloud, but what did it matter that no one she asked had ever heard of the place or its address?
She asked feels redundant.
Yeah. What did it matter that no one had ever heard of the place or address?
Yeah, I wanted you to read it again because I thought the idea was brilliant, but I thought the execution of the sentence was off. But I don't have it in front of me, so I'm going on audio only. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, honestly, it's really freaking good.
I want to look
Uh,
at her dialogue. Oh, sorry.
that was actually going to say that was actually kind of my one thing, and I think to me, I think it's because this is literary. I would want to read more to make sure this author is creating distinct dialogue. This is it's so short, but that would be kind of my concern off of this is feeling like the dialogue's not distinct enough. But I'm not sure we don't really have enough to make
And
that
by distinct,
determination.
to be clear, by distinct, do you mean that it's not unique enough to the character? So the way they speak is the same? Or do you mean it's not precise enough to her situation? And so it's more of a generic motivation.
It's not clear enough it's not distinct enough from the two characters. But again, very short amount of time.
But even in that short amount of time, we should be able to hear voice. So what you're saying is that the dialogue could use a little bit of more voicey, be just a tad bit more voicey.
A little bit. And we've talked about how I don't like that term, voicey. I think I don't know how much of a part the driver has. Probably not much. This might be the only time that we meet them, so it might not really matter. But I think I would make the driver's language a little bit shorter. I'd cut words here, like you don't say the driver responded, listen, I tried calling roadside assistance, but there's no phone service here. We have to wait until the next car comes along. I might, depending on what comes next, recommend being like, listen, tried calling roadside assistance, no phone service here. We just got to wait till the next car comes along. Go ahead, Molly.
So I'm going to give a slightly different thought here. Again, right, we're in the even better if. We've all acknowledged that this is really good, right?
It's
So
phenomenal.
we're just playing with ideas here. I agree. The last sentence, a little bit of rewording could go a long way because the rest of it is so poetically good. An idea here with this taxi driver, does the taxi driver need to exist at all?
Oh, fair point.
Could you have it be Because if this character's not coming back, they're never right. I don't know the story, but they're taking up a lot of page on or a lot of space on the very first page. Like maybe you could have the emphasis be on, this very interesting stuff with Anna and the cigarette, and she's, trying to find this is all very, very interesting stuff. And maybe you could just have it be where you could write your way where he doesn't have any dialogue at all. She just gets out of the taxi and just walks away. And like you could write yourself away where there is no driver. Like it starts where he's already gone, or it starts where he drops her off, or like she closes the door and walk. Like you could do that. Is it the right solution? I don't know. I don't know if this is
Can
the
I
right
give another
solution.
one? My turn.
Yeah,
Third
Morgan.
try.
Yeah,
Okay, so you can take any of these, none of these. Here would be mine. I actually like what's happening. I want a little bit more time with them. So I'm gonna actually push on the other side and
agreed.
maybe a reflection piece from her about how she feels about the driver. Like, does she think he's authentically trying to help her? Just like get in her head just a minute. And maybe it's the way she holds the cigarette with him specifically. Maybe it's the way she turns away from him, but just a beat to show me the tension between the characters. So I like the taxi driver because I didn't read him as cliche. I actually read him as a human who was aware and like down to earth, and that she was like a little um um overly zealous to get where she's going, and that he's like more cautious and grounded. And I think just a couple more beats inside her head or with her personality, like, does she know that that's how she is? Or what does she think of him? Does she think, oh, he's a good guy, he's trying to help me? Does she think, I would just like that reaction piece as far as the beats go? So, like, decision, action, reaction. I just like a little bit more time in the reaction beat.
And I think there's stuff there, right? It talks about she closes her eyes to keep the tears from falling. It talks about she did her best to rein in her tone and keep herself from snapping at him. It was not his fault, though it was easier to blame the taxi driver than the weather. So I think some of that is there.
Yeah. I wanted it again, though, again, because doesn't he say something right after that?
Well, you have a good excuse.
Yeah. And then I wanted one more, like just like one line. I'm not talking about very much at all. Just like where does she land? Is she able to work through the emotions, or does she still hate him? She's still angry.
And maybe it comes on, the next page. Who
Yeah. So
knows?
we don't
Yeah,
know. It's because this is great. So that's
it
the best I
really
can
is
do.
good.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think our consensus is we would read more. We want
Yes.
to read
Yeah.
more. We're excited. What is this fairy tale? It's ended before it even began. Where is she going? How did she get directions for a place that we'll have to edit that one. How did she get directions for a place that doesn't have an address and no one knows it's existing? Like this is interesting stuff. This is a right blend of like suspension of telling us things without, telling us too much. You leave us questions, you give us some answers. Like this is really good.
Yeah.
Thank
If
you
this
for
is
sharing.
if this is published or close to published, please tell us where to get this. So, or if in a year from now it becomes published, pop that in the comments below because it's good. This is really good.
Thank you for making our day.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.